Greetings, dear internet. You may know me as Crispy or Draco or Dr. Draco, but that's enough of formal introductions. Let's get on with the video itself. Now, the new NFL season is coming up soon, so you might be a little bit excited and you may want to take your fandom of a specific team to the next level. That's all well and good, but on eBay at the moment, and I'm sure other places, you'll notice that there are two types of jerseys that you can get for approximately the same price. And those, if you excuse me for shaking the camera a little bit there, that is the counterfeit stitched jersey and the genuine printed jersey. I'll be giving you some general overviews of these two different jerseys, and so you can make your own decision as to which one you would like. Preferably you should be taking the genuine one, but let's find out how you can spot a counterfeit first of all, and then you can debate in your own time whether you want to get the counterfeit or whether you want to get the genuine one. Both of them cost about £30 on eBay. This one is usually a little bit cheaper. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go with is this is marked as a Richard Sherman authentic platinum jersey. Now, you may know about the platinum range. I think it was introduced last year. Whether it was or wasn't, I'm not entirely sure, but it retails for about over £100 anyway. And one way of recognising these a counterfeit is by realising that there is actually no design like this at all in the whole uniform catalogue. And you think, well, it's all silvered on the front, it's got silvery bits on there, how is it not in the catalogue? How is this not in the genuine jersey history? Well, it's simple, because of that little bit. None of the platinum jerseys actually have this little silvered bit on the Seahawks jersey. Okay, there's other little things as well, such as the label at the back. You may notice that that's in colour. That's supposed to be in black and white, or in a monochrome greyish colour anyway, to fit in with the rest. Also, you may notice that the number at the front, that's actually supposed to be silvery and shiny. Okay, it's shiny, but not in a metallic shiny way. And that's definitely proven by the lettering on the back. That is supposed to be printed, for one, but also it's supposed to be silvery, as if, well, I don't know how to put it. It is supposed to be as if it is platinum that's been printed on the back. Anyway, there are other signs that you may have a counterfeit. Let's go. Sorry, we're going on a whistle-stop tour here. I'm sorry about this. You may also be hearing focus hunting from my camera, but there is a good reason for it as well. If we look closely at the printed designs, you may notice, if it focuses, that it seems to be aliased. It seems to be aliasing, or what's called in computing terms as jaggies. Seems to be a very jagged, low resolution form of what we have here. Now let's compare that to the genuine one over here, and if we look at that, it's all smooth, very smooth, no jaggies at all. Another way of checking is to actually check the quality of the printing. When it comes to saying Seahawks, you may notice that it looks all, well, you can pretty much make out the logo, make out the font, everything seems to be fine and dandy there. It looks nice and smooth. Let's use that as a reference. Now let's go back to the dodgy one. I say dodgy, it may not be dodgy, you never know. Right, if you look at that closer, which might be difficult, but you may be able to figure out that there's just some bleeding. The text just doesn't look as smooth as you expect. And you can definitely tell when it actually comes to the feathers on the neckline. So you see that they look more like boxy Pac-Man than actual feathers. And another way of actually finding out whether you've got a genuine thing or not is by counting the number of feathers that there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 feathers. And then there's the same on the reverse. That's 10. 10 doesn't sound right because if we actually go over the genuine one, and one way of proving that you have a genuine jersey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12. Now, why could it be 12 feathers? Oh, I wonder. 12 feathers to favour the 12th man. A popular bit of Seahawks lore there. Okay. Another way of checking whether you've got something that's a bit shoddy is by checking. Yep, a lovely bit of focus hunting there. And you may notice that we've got NFL players on there, and the NFL logo just looks a little bit blurred. It's not blurring, I assure you, it's actually bleeding. It's print bleeding, which doesn't look very nice. Right, so where was this made? Where was this made? I'm looking at the wrong side. Oh, for goodness sake. There we go. So where was this made? Well, according to this, it was made in Honduras of USA fabric. Looks easy enough to read. Yep. Okay, so it was made in Honduras. So, if you let me shake this out a bit, why does it say it's made in Guatemala? Now, if that happened in the sweatshop, the person responsible would have been murdered by now. Let's see. We've got the NFL shield on the neck. It's all made out of a rubbery substance, and it's all stitched on. But as you can see, there just seems to be some slight imperfections in the stitching, especially around there. Just doesn't seem, the stitching hasn't been terminated in a way that you would feel confident over. Compare this with the official one. So we've got that here. You may notice that there's actually smaller stitches as well. Smaller stitches that go all the way around, and you can't necessarily tell where the stitching has been terminated. Also, unlike the white and silvery one, where if you pushed it, it just felt like a rubbery bit on fabric, this one has a slight bit of padding underneath, so it has a little bit of give. On a final note, one way of checking whether something's a counterfeit or not, even when it's stitched, and your sign of quality, is actually checking the back. If it's stitched, does it have pieces of cardboard in it? Yes, little pieces of cardboard that can be sort of picked off. Just a demonstration of a lack of quality. Oh, and you know, in some cheap Chinese, some crappy Chinese items, you tend to get inspected by number 7 or something like that, which tends to be your which tends to be your quality symbol of crap. Well, on the genuine one, don't be afraid of this, because if we can go on there, it was on it, oh here, right on the back, Inspector number 6, and this is on a genuine item as well. And just before I forget, and before I run out of time, this is a genuine article, but it does not have one of those black labels that says Nike and has authentic stitching on it. If you look at various different how do I check for a counterfeit things, it will say that there's a little black label that then says that it's authentic. It is not. There is not one in this case. So don't think that just because you don't have a little black label that it's a counterfeit. That is not necessarily the case, and you should take the other points. You should take the other points into view. Now, it's not just looking at the garment itself, but it's also looking at the labels. Let's have a look at the labels. Okay, so this is the counterfeit one on the left, and the genuine one is on the right. Now you may say, oh, these were made in different times, because apparently this one was made in 2011 and this one was made in 2014. That may be the case, but you wouldn't really expect, and if we can zoom in, and if we can do a bit of focus hunting, I'm not really sure whether it's going to do it at this stage. You may notice that there seems to be a bit of blurring or even JPEG artifacting on the NFL logo. Compare that with the Authentico, where it just seems to be very smooth, and there doesn't seem to be any JPEG artifacting where there's colour gradients like up there. Okay, so let's open them up. Well, of course, it must be genuine because it's got a hologram on it. Well, you may see already as I'm moving around, the hologram on the right, the authentic one, the genuine one, actually seems to be a bit more sprightly, a bit more lively as I move the camera around. So that's one way of checking it. But if we can, I may be able to do this. I'm not really sure. If you tilt it in the right way, it is possible. There you go, around there. If you tilt it just right, you'll see the blue where the blue bits should be. There should be a red where the red bit should be, and at around the same time, but because I'm using a camera at the moment, at the same time you should also see the orange of the footballs. If you look very close, which I don't think will be possible on this one, I don't think it will be possible for me to show this, but if you may notice that on the lower half there seems to be a sort of diagonal pattern. That diagonal pattern is actually made out of tiny little microscopic words, and they're so tiny I can't even tell you what it actually says. I think it says genuine, I'm not really sure. But the upper part doesn't actually change colour at all. It's just a grey N and A, and then tilt it out and then it just says National Football League, but that's not in colour. The rest of it is in colour, all nice and photochromatic, and very advanced photochromatics as well. Compare this with the Counterfeit. You may notice that again it just doesn't seem as sprightly, and there isn't any angle. Oh, there's an angle like that, but you can't see blue, you can't see red, you can't see orange. It just seems to be very many different colours, but no continuity on one single colour. Also, the diagonal pattern does not actually contain any text. It's just diagonal lines. A final way of checking whether something's bad is actually by checking the barcode at the back. Now, you may think, oh, you're cheating a bit here, because one of them is a Richard Sherman jersey and the other one is a fan jersey, number 12. But there is an important little hint here. On your Counterfeit, you will have the barcode 88655089769, and if we actually look that on my phone, if you give me just a moment. Okay, so let's have a look at that on my dear old phone. It's, having to work with a camera and my fingers here. This is very funny. Oh, hang on. San Diego Chargers Philip Rivers. Just in case you're not entirely convinced, what's the difference between... Oh, I had this already. Sorry. What's the difference between Richard Sherman and Philip Rivers? Okay, so here we go. That's Richard Sherman. That's Philip Rivers. That's Sherman. That's Rivers. That's Seattle. That's San Diego. That's Seattle Seahawks. That's San Diego Chargers. That's Seahawks. That's Chargers. That's Seahawk. And that's a charger. That's Seahawks. That's chargers. That's shawks, storks, quarks and porks. If you use your phone to actually check the other barcode, you can definitely be certain. If you give me just a moment, I just need to prime up my phone. Okay, so we've got a barcode reader up here, and it's going to be reading the barcode in due course. Yes, it will eventually. As you can imagine, these things take time, and it's not even going to bother, which is very frustrating. Okay then, if you actually look up that barcode, which if we're going to do some focus hunting, yeah, kind of, if you look up that barcode, you'll actually find out that it is a genuine 12 jersey, and if you use your mobile phone to actually scan the barcode, it will actually come up with some offers for number 12 medium jerseys. So I think that's generally it. As to whether you want to choose something that's stitched, which if it's stitched it means that it's going to be of a assumedly higher quality because it will last longer in the wash, or multiple washes. That's your own thing. That's your own lookout. But do remember that you are taking out a counterfeit jersey, and if you're going to do that, then it means that any fans who have paid out more money for the genuine stuff, they're probably not going to respect you as much. But you do get a nice jersey which you can wear indoors and all that. But then again, you're also faced with the fact that you might be funding terrorism in some way. Yes, I know. It's the whole it's the whole cheap packet of cigarettes thing all over again. And the government saying, well, you bought it from your mate in the pub. And then it goes over to some people who do human trafficking. And you know, in the UK, the human trafficking thing and the Syrian refugees, it's a bit of a hot topic. So it's probably best to buy genuine. There are some decent stuff on eBay. Sometimes you do get the genuine stuff on eBay. You will know because the reason for them selling it will be unwanted gift or something like that. So, in your own ways, in your own time, be patient. It may take a while before you find the jersey that you would like, and don't try and buy the first one that you see, thinking, oh yeah, it must be genuine because eBay really cares about me. In fact, they don't. There is an eBay money back guarantee that says if you have a counterfeit item, if you've bought one, if you've received one, and you are convinced that it is one without a doubt, that's not going to help you. You still need to produce a written affidavit, written proof that it is a counterfeit. This is from Trading Standards, your local Trading Standards office, who will take the item away to destroy it, or by writing to Nike themselves. Right into the manufacturer, of which they'll probably take it away and destroy it, or in the case of Nike, they don't actually care. They don't do a counterfeit checking service, and they're not going to write on your behalf to prove that something's a counterfeit. They don't care. They already get enough money, and checking for counterfeits is a case of is a cause for concern only if it's for a lot of items. They only care about the mass counterfeit producers, not the people on eBay who are selling about 1 or 2 or 3 a day. So overall, whether you want to buy counterfeit, whether you want to buy genuine, whether you can afford it, just challenge yourself once every now and again. So thank you very much for watching this video all the way through to the end. There are a couple more points after the main part of filming that I need to highlight. One which is The texturing on printed jerseys, you should expect the front. You should expect the big numbers to be textured in some way or other. Let's see, you've got the dark grey parts. They should feel like they're in front of the green bits and the light grey bits. So if it's textured, don't think that it's not genuine. It's actually one step closer to being genuine. On stitched ones, I'm not entirely sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of texturing on there. I'm sorry I can't help you out more there, because in the UK we don't get many stitched ones unless they're counterfeit, as I very much found out. So why haven't I taken this back to the seller or trading standards? Well, trading standards will only care if it's a huge stockpile and it's a crime syndicate, so okay. And if I sent it back to the seller, don't you think that they're just going to resell it back on eBay? So, okay, I don't mean to sound like a complete bleeding heart, but as soon as I received it, I was stuck with it, technically. But I am going to unleash the scientist within me, and I'm going to test this in the wash. I'm also going to test this in the wash, and we'll find out whether they do well. Because in some cases, the counterfeit item actually lasts longer and has better quality fabric than the genuine stuff. So, if there's anything significant, then I'll let you know in any future videos. Other than that, it's just sitting back, tossing a red flag, just for the heck of it. Waiting for the new season to start, complaining that Tom Brady's got away with it again, and just eating Skittles. Oh look, blue and green. I don't feel any more beastie. No beast mode in me.